So now, with this 555 and with this connection here, I do want to look back because there's something I haven't had a chance to go into real depth on, and it's the fact that the Washington Monument was closed the same weekend that Kiedis was hospitalized on the 14th there, remember, and again, something I've been talking about as we've been moving through here, and so it's just some more pictures for you. Badu being assassinated in her video with the groupthink spilling out of her head, notice evolving on her back. I'm going to talk more about this in a minute. There's the God of all things for you. But now, look at this. This is from the Washington Post talking about this whole incident with, as you can see here, possible elevator problems being the source there. But notice here, they have it as 555 feet tall. It's technically 554 and like 7 inches or something. Rounding it up to the 555. Very important there, though, because again, remember that what's his name? Prince was found dead in an elevator, and so very interesting that you have that 555 there. The last song that he performed live, sorry if this is a little jumbled for a second, was Purple Rain, which does have the 555 value for it, as you can see now on the right side of your screen. But do notice again that elevator is the same English and simple values as Cootie Rock. And so why that is important is that is the director for Erykah Badu's window seat video. And so again, I can't overstate that. You also notice Angel of Death comes up coded in there. Notice with his name, the inverted 93, as well as the name letters being 64, all right? And so again, 64, immensely important in all of this because you do see it coming up for Bring Me Home Live, Quiet Storm, and the formula of INRI, all right? So all of that very, very important to keep track of. So now let's look at the Washington Monument here, and notice that TWM gives us 254. So pulling that up for you, you do see that it is the same as speed limit 35. And so again, going back to that is from Erykah Badu's trailer for the land, and again notice how it's inverted when it shouldn't be, giving us that 53, which you could also look as that 8 there, alright. And so now let me jump back here to keep on track. So now do notice for the Washington Monument that you have reference to the number 1357. Now that is the same coding that we get for Charles Dickens, alright. So again, by far not at all a coincidence, and again notice here this date, July 8th, being spelled out when I was talking about towards the beginning of the video. You see CERN goes wrong, as well as sudden alien invasion. Okay, go back and watch the video in which I talk about Charles Dickens at length because it is fascinating. So do notice you also see vicious and selfish attitude, as well as antichrist hybrids revealed. You see the genuine outcome of events, and Satan despises conspiracy theorists. Could it possibly be because they're able to think critically enough to espouse the plans that people devoted to him actually try to carry out? So now do notice here the English and simple values for the Washington Monument, same as Judas My Guide. Judas My Guide, again the hook from that song, just 3 minutes 6 seconds, on and on. All right, so notice here the number 174 comes up, so reference to Dorothy Parker. Do remember it was probably about 15 minutes ago, but I referenced Erykah Badu performing that song from Prince. I am going to talk about it more in just a moment here, okay? But do notice reference to conscious and subconscious, and center of great tribulation. Okay, this is the world's tallest obelisk, and so very interesting to keep that in mind. Now let's take a look here at Washington Monument, all right, without the in front of it. And so do notice you see the unsealing of the 7 seals, as well as underground tunnel system and the meaning of life and everything. So now down below, the English and simples, notice that 245 coming up again, immensely important. It is the She Is There location, but I also want you to see here reference to the activation of FEMA camps, as well as the perfection of the beast and the number 1630 1638, all right? And so if I were to pop in 1638 over here, it does come up as the English value for Peter Anderson Sessions. This is the man who introduced the magic pill, and so again, notice his connections to Inspired by Matt and Kim, but you do see here the system is corrupt, secret satanic sorority, and U.S. chemical and biological attacks, all right? So very fascinating. You then see instant destruction and an entire different world. Now, let's take a look here, because the other place I want to talk about is the George Washington Masonic National Memorial. And so I think I actually have these tabs pulled up for you here. So there's quite a few things to mention with these, and so notice the map coordinates for them, 38 degrees and 77 degrees for Washington Monument here, and then if we pop over to Virginia, just about 8 miles away for where this one is located, you will notice that it is the same 38 and 77 coordinates, and so very interesting. And of course, notice that this is a 333 foot tall building here. That 101, again, the 333 from Danny Smith, so on. Immensely important connections there, very hard to deny. But do notice here, again, if we add 333 and 555, the heights of these buildings, we do get that 888, all right? And again, if we subtract them, we get a 222, which is immensely important, all right? And so notice here that the Masonic one, the ladder, is located on Shooter's Hill. And so that is, you can, if I pop you back here, you can take a look at that. And see that they have a different reference for it as well, stated as Shooter's Hill. Notice right here, either way, definitely comes across as a bit bizarre that we would have that. But so now notice here for Shooter's Hill, you do see reference to misuse of magic, as well as kill all Christians, the infernal barbarian, and spirit of deceit. Now notice the English and simple values here, same as Commerce Bank Arena. Again, Susanna Jones, and so she's definitely worth referencing more in depth for you here. Let's pull her up. So there you have that. Notice she died at the age of 116 and 311 days, 66, 33, 99. You should see it, okay? References to messages revealed, subconscious, satanic rulers, devil worship, as well as mystical arts and Obama damage right eye. Now, keep that in mind, that right eye damage, because when we talk about Ricky Smiley here in a minute, it is going to be very fascinating. So now notice for Shutter's Hill, or Shooter's Hill, however that one would be pronounced, you do have this Jewish value being the same as TMZ. Very important. 630 is the same English value as Rick Rubin, again in the window seat remix, as well as the phrase days later, which is what appears in the very beginning of that video. So do notice for that reference to 9/11, sudden death, the world, Kliphoth, and vitriol, all things I've talked about extensively that carry immense significance, all right? And so now notice here, reference to the Master Mason, as well as the King of Terror and Asteroid Collision. Now notice down below, this English and simple value is the same as Illuminatus, as well as Love is the Law, central component to Crowley and his work, as well as very hideous, Rosy Cross, immensely important. You see Building a World, USA President, There is no death in the fall of mankind. And so now I think it's very interesting to reference that the Washington Monument is officially completed in 1888, and the George Washington National Masonic Memorial was completed in 1932. So if we subtract those dates, we do get that number 44. Now let's take a look at Alexandria here, because Alexandria is absolutely being referenced in this story as where debris or something's going on in Alexandria, and they feel it's necessary to bring it up at this point. All right, and so let's jump back here, and if we look at it, you see the Jewish value is the same as speed limit 8, again reducing that 3 and 5 from the sign I showed you. But do notice again we get sudden death, black magic user, as well as the horror and immortal fire and throne of Hecate. And so notice the English and simple values, same as Dan Rather, the man who essentially told Walter Cronkite that Kennedy was dead. But do notice here that it is the same as Virginia, which is where this latter one, the GW National Masonic statue, is located in Alexandria, Virginia. You also see reference to God of War, Secrets, and Terrible. And so again, just popping back here, everything that I've been talking about with Nema, it is the word amen inverted and connected to Horatio Greeno and a lot of other things. But do notice in Alexandria, Virginia is absolutely where they held this year's mid-year forum. All right, so now let's get back to Erykah Badu here for a second, okay? So this cover of this Prince song, the original song, I don't have a page pulled up for you, but it is 4 minutes and 1 second long. Again, it's bizarre. It's the same as my name here, and you can see all of the things written out for that. But so notice for the Ballad of Dorothy Parker, the English and simple values give you reference to the 13th tarot card. Again, stated till I'm blue in the face, it is the Death card. It is also the same as this right here, Thelema Astrum Argentum, and then the letter E is in there, and so as an extra letter, but I absolutely thought that that was worth referencing because the let's see if I can pull it up for you here really quick. Alright, so there we go, the Astrum Argentum. But so notice the connection there to Crowley's symbol here for Order of the Silver Star is the Astrum Argentum, and this is this. You see it followed by his name all throughout his works, and again, just a very important piece to tie in there. And the number, or excuse me, E just being very critical because again, the number 5, you can think of this as representing all 5 elements, including the 5th element, ether, connecting everything, as well as the 5 senses, 5 points on the pentagram, so on. And so notice as well, you see Anthropophagus United, that is for people who eat other people. It's the organization for cannibals. You do see a reference to National Public Radio Hit Job. Again, I don't know if someone from NPR is going out, but there was a really interesting Simpsons bit with that. But so now let's keep going here, because if the song is the Ballad of Dorothy Parker, who is Dorothy Parker is the way that I look at the coding for it. So DP gives us 4 and 7, giving us that nice 11 there. Names are 7 and 6 letters, so 13 letters. The Death card, again, you can see how from this name we can get this 44 reduction. So notice the Jewish value for Dorothy Parker is the same as Mayor Eric Hogue. Again, coming up in the middle of all of this, alright? So notice Legion of Beelzebub, and so again that could tie into the Lord of the Flies stuff that we seen coded earlier, as well as the number 103, the same as hello, the same as devil, all those things. Now notice as well, because you do see reference to Terminator and nuclear bomb, as well as the number 86, and so I want to keep that in your head because 86, I'm going to talk about Oregon here in a moment, in Portland, Oregon to be more specific, but so we'll get there. But notice for Dorothy Parker, English and simple, sorry, quick drink of water there, but are coming up as New World Order, as well as Jeremiah 9:11. And so I think I've actually got that bit pulled up for you here. So do notice Jeremiah 9:11, the phrase, I will make Jerusalem a heap of ruins, a haunt of jackals, and I will make the cities of Judah a desolation without inhabitant. And so definitely clearly talking about completely obliterating things there. Notice as well, you see the Age of Aquarius, Alien Human Contact, The Royal Secret, and Portland, Oregon, which is 8 and 6 letters, that 86. So we'll look at that, but see as well secret societies. So now in looking into Portland, Oregon, you'll find that Rose City is one of the very popular nicknames for it, as it is said to be an ideal place for growing roses. But now notice again, and the obvious connection there to the Rosicrucians, but R and C, 9 and 3, that thelemic number, and both of the words being 4 letters, so that 44. So now be sure to go through and look at all of this here because I want to move past it because there's still a fair amount I need to get through here. And so now do notice though that the English and simples are the same as the Tower and Friends Arena, alright? And so the Tower, absolutely critical because in the How Lisa Got Her Marge Back, the Jeff Martin episode, this is how it ends at the Tower, and so absolutely interesting there. And so worth noting as well that 684 is the same Jewish value as Little League champs. Again, on these statues here, notice that each word is 6 letters and starts with a letter that is reduced to 3. So you have 2 triple threes and 2, and really fascinating stuff. But so do notice again that Friends Arena, if I were to type that in, that is the show that I was looking into that Beyonce will be playing in. I think it's in Sweden somewhere, but so just take a look here. It is going to be marking 135 days since the Magic Bill was introduced. That is very interesting, absolutely. I wish I had the bit pulled up where it was telling us where Friends Arena is. But since I'm not seeing it, let's just kind of look past it here. And I think, yeah, I think it's in Sweden. We should just look it up. I've looked up enough, right? And so now let's keep going here, though, because for this English and simple value for Rose City, you do see reference again to New World as well as Holocaust, the Roman numerals for the founding of America, as well as the beginning Babylon book. You also see Keystone. And so now let's take a look at this. Because I also want to note that the day before this performance, where she did the Dorothy Parker song, a bronze statue of Ben Franklin that was put up in 1856 was somehow knocked over by a rogue tent. And so you can absolutely see this. This is a real story, I'm not kidding. He said that a tent knocked over this massive bronze statue. And so notice that we're in 2016, and if we subtract 1856, it's 160 years, and that's crazy because that 160 is the same as Shooter's Hill, which we were just looking at. Right here, notice that simple value, and again, same as Commerce Bank Arena, Susanna Jones and Andrew Rannells. He was the one who guest starred in the episode of The Simpsons, How Lisa Got Her Marge Back. So you see that just again and again coded in there, alright? So now, that's very important, though, to reference as well in the sense of 160, if we drop the 0, is 16. All right, the 16th year of the millennium is what we're on right now. It's also the Tower card. All the things we've talked about there. But so now, this is fascinating to me because this statue, the Ben Franklin one that fell over, debuted 15 years after the enthroned Washington statue was put up. And again, the one that looks just like the goat of Mendes. I think I've got it for you here. But so again, that right there, and made by Horatio Greeno. Notice that Richard Greeno is the guy who built the Ben Franklin statue. And so it seems like they're brothers, which is important because the lover's card is the brother's card, and the 15 years in between here not only is the devil card, but 1 and 5 reduces to 6. The lovers, the brothers, right? Do you see it? Because it's very critical. Now notice for Richard Greeno here, this is absolutely important. R and G, 9 and 7, that's 16, alright, just like this 16 up here, alright. Both the names, one of them is 7 letters, the other is 9, so we have the inverted version of it there, another 16 though. But so you see those inversions there, and if we reduce both of them, we do come back to that beloved 77. And so do notice now for Richard Greeno, the Jewish value is the same as the number of God, as well as the stargates. Portland, Oregon, the path of the hanged man. Again, that is the sacrifice card. You do see no compromises, CIA murderers, the words candy canes, again, which I've broken down for you there. You can see the 33, 55, and 88, which come out of them, as well as gender neutral cults of death and historical fiction. All right, a lot of fascinating stuff here. Now do notice the English and simple values here are the same as Dark Necessities, the Chili Peppers' most recent single, which came out on May 5th, 5/5, is also the same as When Doves Cry and Speed Limit 8. Again, things we've talked about immensely in this video and in the past. So notice here Masonic Grand Lodge, Seal of Solomon, Terrorists, Supervolcano, The Final Warning, and Secrets Revealed. Alright, so now notice as well the number 684 is written out, and so I've got important there, so let's take a look at it over here. So there's 684, yes, is the same as Friends Arena and the Tower, which we were just talking about. Again, World War, New World, the Tower, the beginning, all of those things. Do notice as well this reference to turtle doves. A dove is on the Tower card, and so now with all of that, it's going to be 27 days from that performance of Dorothy Parker on May 16th to Erykah Badu's performance at Verizon Arena, which is going to be on June 11th, with Ricky Smiley being the one essentially opening for her. So here's this for you. So you can see all of that there, the importance, the theater at Verizon Arena, again, dates, all of that, very critical. But so now notice here just that 27, immensely crucial, 3 and 6, again. So I want to show you all of this because I have written out, it's very interesting. Look at the Verizon Arena construction dates in conjunction with all of this. So the groundbreaking for this stadium was August 22nd, 97, and it officially opened on the 2nd of October, 1999. So it took them 772 days, or 2 years, 1 month, and 11 days. So 77 times 2 is 154. Just like the Law of Thelema, the Antichrist, black boxes found, black boxes located, Anthony Key, all of those things I've shown you today are right there as well, okay? And so notice again that 222, but I want to draw your attention to this October 2nd completion date because as I've stated, with the 7 newly added tours for Beyonce's World Formation, it now ends on October 2nd, which is the 276th day of the year with 90 remaining. So if we pull up 276 just to get a baseline here, do notice that it is the simple value for the secret of 36, and so you have secret satanic sorority, all of these things coming up again, the great master of masters, as well as gunman at school board meeting. I do think that one's very interesting, but a lot of other things connected in here as well. Notice the English value for VX, which is graffiti that appears in the video, or excuse me, in the trailer for the land here. So notice here, this is also, if you're wondering about the E83 or 38E, all of those codings are from that. This is the X and the V over here, all right? Again, immensely important letters, but all of those codings there, very, very important, all right? So now let's keep moving here because there's still a tremendous amount of information. So now notice that we can look at this date a couple of different ways. October 2nd can either be viewed as the number 102, or for this year, it can be viewed as 1029 because that's what 2016 reduces to. So do notice that that does pop up in things that I've looked up already, the phrase endless love, that 53, the inverted there, 35, but notice bloodstains on my hand, super terrorist, as well as the maker of evil, as well as loveliness, alright? So all of these things immensely critical in here. You will see these other numbers popping up again in just a moment. So now do notice, since Badu and Beyonce are coming up in about the same capacities with each other, I want to do a little cross-referencing here for you. So notice the day that Badu's playing at Verizon Arena, as I've stated the date, and do notice the 66. It is going to be 114 days, and I've actually got this screenshot for this one here because it's just, I think it's awesome At least I hope I have the screenshot for you. Yeah, I do. So there's that for you there. So you can see it, but look at that, 114 days and 3 months and 22 days is the alternative way of breaking that down. So that skull and bones number and that 114. And so again, something that I've shown you quite a bit. I can't remember how this one popped up. I think it was like this. There you go. So from decoding Beyonce's Lemonade, the 114, and remember that Kennedy was shot on 411 Elm Street, the inversion of it there. You do see for decoding Beyonce's Lemonade, hands that shed innocent blood, as well as the encrypted code, the deadly clip-off, all of these things that we've talked about immensely getting to this point here, all right? But so very, very important to notice how that all lines up. And since Representative Pete Sessions, the guy who introduced the magic bill, keeps coming up, he was born on March 22nd as well. Definitely something to just think about. So now do keep noticing here that I have it tied out for you, the 49 dates. Again, that coming down to the death card. Verizon Arena used to be called Alltel Arena, which has the same English and simple value as that came up earlier in this video. I believe it was for EgyptAir. So let's pop that up. Yep, just to make sure. So you do see that 606. And so now notice now for 606 reduced, or for just pulled out here, you can see the reduction is 36, the importance. But the Jewish value for that number, the 888s, all right, as well as CDC Zombie, Scythe, the Colts of Baal, as well as Prince of Cups, and the elite members of a gang next to terroristic. So I do want to read just a little bit about the Prince of Cups here, which I do believe I have pulled up for you. It is on page 158 of the Book of Thoth. And so let's see here, because I've actually got the tarot for you as well, so you can take a look at that, the immense significance here and symbolism. But so it does say the moral characteristics of the person pictured in this card are subtlety, secret violence, and craft. He is intensely secret and an artist in all ways. He is on the surface susceptible to external influences, but he accepts them only to transmute them to the advantage of his secret designs. He is thus completely without conscience in the ordinary sense of the word, and is therefore usually distrusted by his neighbors. You see this as well. He inspires unreasonable fear, and he is in fact perfectly ruthless. He cares intensely for power, wisdom, and his own aims, and feels no responsibility to others. And you see as well, although his abilities are so immense, he cannot be relied upon to work in harness. All right, so again, all of these things about taking advantage of tragedies to convey things not beyond the scope that we're seeing here, all right? Very, very important. So now notice directly below this now for Verizon Arena, okay, this is where the show is going to take place. The Jewish value here, 1511, you do see reference to Barack Hussein Obama, as well as humans are being harvested, hidden advanced technology, and all the world is a stage. So the English and simple values here, there's that 888, the 888 all over the places here. You see Elenin is coming, Donald J. Trump, as well as 3 numbers, destruction, the secret path, satanic wizard, the path of none. Remember, that is the death card, as well as Obama, goat, nation. All of the things I showed you with that. So do notice as well, this is some of the last information here. It is going to be at the theater, which is at Verizon Arena. That is the same Jewish value as God of All Things, the Boondocks, who LaShawn Thomas was an animator for, as well as Rick Ross. FBI terror, as well as sorceries, sadistic madman, and an idol of Satan. Notice down below the English and simple values here, the same as Paris, France, and East 83. Again, from that picture I showed you, notice 660 is the same J value as Beyonce Lemonade. And so I'll pull that up for you on the side over here. And of course, Dropping that off, you see the immense importance of the 66 there. So again, do notice blood-filled streets and cauldron of sacrifice, all right? Immensely important. Do notice here now for the actual English and simple values for it, you see reference to encrypted, the new Aeon, as well as Rockefeller, I love France, martial law, starving, it's an omen, accidental death, and 911. So now let's take a quick look at Ricky Smiley here, because I think he's absolutely critical. Do notice his Jewish value there of 1061 gives us again instant destruction, the total transformation, as well as BH Obama will die, alternative, and tyranny. Notice you also see Lucifer / devil. The English and simples for Ricky Smiley are the same as all of the 154s that I've shown you up until this point. And so again, Ketis, Love Gun, Earth Space Defense, the signs, black box is found, black box is located. All right, it's there a million times. All right, so now let's take a look here at Ricky Smiley. Why the hell is he opening for Badu? What significance could be there? I think it comes from this whole pray for me bit that he does. So notice here he uses his quote granny voice again, and he calls this character Miss Ola Mae Benton Carter Jackson Glenn. This is 7 names right here, very important, the number 7. And so notice it says pray for a member of the church who had been stabbed, involved in an ambulance crash, hit by a train, had a leg cut off by the jaws of life, or was shot, quote, in the right eye. What the fuck? And so look here, you then see afterwards they read him through several verses of Walk With Me, Lord. And so let's jump back here and take a look at Granny. And so the character voice, you see sacred lessons, signs of deception, satanic pentagram, as well as Queen of Coins. I'll leave you a link. I don't have that one pulled up right now, but you see propaganda placement, beast mark on forehead, and genocides in the name of God. You also see the failed ritual, so I'm curious about that. But do notice down below you see reference to murder, nature, Lincoln, who I'll show you again in a moment, criminal, chaos magic, and raise Cain. All right, and so all very fascinating. Do notice for the 7 names here you do see reference to satanic wizard, as well as dishonorable warfare tactics, is leading everyone to death. And again, the phrase of 2018 dead. And so a lot of speculation about the year 2018 as being the end of America. But 2016 is also coded very hot for that as well. So do notice down below the simple value of 367 is the same Jewish value as Eric Hogue. Again, that magician, the mayor of Wiley, Texas, was absolutely coded and a huge proponent for magic, for putting all of this forward. Notice for that Thelema Beast, as well as American Beast and Death Scandals, all right, all very critical. But I do want you to see down here the Maid Illuminati committed suicides, as well as the 3 3s mean World War III, all right, and so always very interesting, and especially to keep in mind this idea of 552 for World War III. Because remember that that's come up a bit today, and that was also the English value for hot sauce, the connections to Hillary Clinton and Beyonce I've shown you with that, and it was also the link, the Prince's song When Doves Cry, and I don't know if I had that other one up there today, but so anyways, to keep moving with that, let's take a look at the phrasing for shot in the right eye, and do notice that the Jewish value is again inspired by Matt and Kim. You see all of this that we've covered, murdered JFK, see violent, remember that is the land, amen, when we look for that, which is going to be Badu's movie. You also see reference to fire from above and I am disease's apocalypse. Notice down below here, the English and simple values for this are the same as Warner Brothers Records. This is who put out Formation, and 215 is the same Jewish value as Plan 9. Again, getting us back to that Misfits album, We Are 138, all of that. Notice attack, as well as Barack death, face facts, misleading, and omens. Okay, again down here, reference to violence, CBS News, and dead ringer, which I definitely think is interesting, because the idea of somebody who looks like important person turning up dead, and again the idea of hiding people underground. So do notice here for the English and simple values though, you do see reference to the key to the kingdom, as well as terrorist front, sudden destruction, and the first crack in the dam. That would essentially be saying the first big splinter here before the massive flood and change in everything. So notice for Matt and Kim, since they keep coming up, the inspired by, who are they? Notice the very first thing that comes up is Cliphoth, alright, the inverted tree of life, the negative energy driving people towards misery, suffering, death, all of that, okay? Do notice as well an infernal idol, the Snake King, Death Notice, and Lucifer, which is the horse that is the very demonic horse outside of Colorado's airport. So now notice here as well, this English and simples are the same as evolving, which is absolutely the tattoo on Erykah Badu's back in this video. Again, noticing groupthink spilling out of her head there, everything I talked about that. But so very interesting, divine plan, nuclear bomb, beast of death, as well as snuff film. All right, clear. That's where somebody dies in the film. Granted, there's no sex scene in the beginning here. All the same as a film in which somebody's killed at the end. You do see again reference to destroy, double agent, and prophecy. Now, I do want to flag aside in the right eye, because it is in quotes back here on the page. Notice shot in the right eye, just like as I said it as well. You do see again reference to capital punishment, the sensations of fear, master serpents, all religion, Babylon, as well as international crisis, unholy agenda, satellite mind control, which is completely possible, misleading statements, and reference to see the hour is near. So we'll look at that in just a moment here. Do notice the English and simples pop up as Albert Einstein, the number of God, Benjamin Franklin. Okay, there's that for you very glaringly. And so notice both of Ben Franklin's names are 8 letters, that 88. You do see reference to triple number, 4 elements, sacred lessons, the holy clues, and vital secrets. So now getting down to here to where it tells us to say, see the hour is near. Now you have reference to satanic hexagram, which is actually hailed as much more of a mark of beast than the pentagram is. You also see the colony, as well as nuclear annihilation, the 1%ers, and satanic human beings. Now look at the English and simples here, because they're the same as Richard Greeno, the guy who made that Ben Franklin statue that fell over. Again, coming up again as dark necessities, when doves cry, and the speed limit. Look through all of that there. It is very fascinating. So again, after he ends that bit, he says they sing "Walk with Me, Lord," and so notice the coding for that. You do have reference to Jesus Christ and his satanic family. The world is built out of shame, and gematria is only a guide if used properly. Couldn't agree more. Do look at what pops up there, 2016, all right? Again, that is what comes up as the English value for flight, or EgyptAir Flight. Oh, God damn it. All right, there you go, Flight 804, all right? Comes up as the English value there. Notice how the concepts overlap, all right? Immensely important. But so let's keep going here though, and you see the phrase, you will not see it coming. Now the English and simples for "Walk with Me, Lord" are the same as Dorothy Parker. Again, immensely important, because that is the ballad of. You see New World Order, again the Royal Secret, Terrorist Obama, Secret Societies, and the Age of Aquarius. All right, and so now since I stated that it is going to be 114 days from when Ricky Smiley and Badu play together at Verizon Arena till the conclusion of Beyonce's tour on October 2nd, I want to look into Nissan Stadium, which is where Beyonce's tour ends. And so these are the last 2 bits of information that I have for you today. I know it's a long video and my timer died, so for over an hour, my apologies, but I hope you're still with me here. So notice October 2nd, again, it's that same day that Verizon Arena was completed being built back in '99. But do notice again the references we can get to 102 or to the inverted 39s and so on. So notice for Nissan Stadium here, you do have reference to alien transmission, the future, as well as master butcher, interconnected religion, the Kabbalistic tree of life, as well as the armies of darkness and the opposite of good. Now do notice again here that this English value of 978 and 163 has come up today here because we were talking about it in relation to Mayor Eric Hogue, the Seventh Seal, and Used and Abused books. All right, and so again, if I just pop this up for you over here, so you can see all of the codings for that, the ideas of Obama being shot, especially in the right eye, all of that we've gone over. But just notice those connections, and again that they have that 878 written out, which brings us back to Commerce Bank Arena and all of the significance there with that 16 or the 160. Remember the 160 years it's been since that Franklin statue fell. Now I don't mean to reiterate too much of what I've already said in this video, so let's get all the way out here. Notice for September 29th, she has a show at Lincoln Financial Field. This is Beyonce I'm talking about. But so notice if we reduce that down, we can get this 99 here, and then if we add the year reduction, it gives us that 999. So Lincoln Financial Field, LFF is 366, which do remember is the number of days in the leap year, as well as the coding for Sade's Bring Me Home, and it is also the same as Formation. Okay, so immensely important to see how all of that comes up. And again, I've gone into extensive depth on this all in the past, so I want to show you on the way out here the Jewish value, this 355. This is going to bring us all the way back to the beginning, because notice 3 times 55 gives us 165. And that is the same as the reduction that we got for CNN, as well as the simple value for Anissa Wells, as well as the reduction from Paris to Cairo, and a ton of other things. All right, so keep all of that in mind. That is a full circle for you right there. But do notice down here the English and simples, we get one more representation of this 11-4 number, and this is the same as Queen of Neo-Soul. So do notice you see reference to the formula of magic spelled with the K, as well as follow the signs, the mythical word, continental drift, satanic church member, the phrase off with their heads, and unholy religion. Of course, off with their heads being immensely interesting because we looked at the tarot card there in which that head was removed. And so it looks like I've got another way to look at this number 184 for you there in connection though to 729. We can look at that as July 2nd. Again, I've done a lot of work on this, so there's a lot of ways to interpret it. But so do notice if we look at that date as the 2nd of July, it is the 184th day of the year. Coded with that, you do also see tetragrammaton, which I don't have written over here, and I don't know why, but very, very important that that comes up as well. Okay, so with that, that's about all of the information that I've got for you today. So just notice, I mean, again, though, coming back to the front here, these 165s, the number of times that you see that, as well as the 154 coming up in everything from the black boxes to the performances to the commercials to the albums to the all over the place. All right, so with all of that being said, just think about it. All right, I'm not saying definitively one way or another. I'm saying it's all very compelling and very fascinating to me that it remains so incredibly coherent as the research continues to pile on. So thank you so much for everybody who's bared with this one. I know it's a really long video, but it's absolutely worth it if you were paying attention. All right, so thank you so much for watching, everybody, and please be well.